Almost 6 decades ago on this day, high schoolers risked their lives to make a stand and preserve the nation's democracy. That spirit lives on, evidenced by the recent candlelight revolution. President Moon Jae-in attended a ceremony to remember the historic movement in Daegu and delivered a special address there. Hwang Hojun starts us off from the southeastern city.
February 28, 1960 marked a milestone in Korea's democratic history when about 1,700 students from 8 high schools in the southeastern city of Daegu took to the streets to protest then-President Rhee Syngman's attempt to secure a 4th term in office through election fraud. It was the first student-led democracy movement since Korea was liberated from imperial Japan in 1945. And on Wednesday, exactly 58 years later, a South Korean president took part in the very first government-recognized ceremony to commemorate the Daegu Democracy Movement. Until now, the only presidential observation of the date was made by President Kim Dae-jung 18 years ago when he went to a ceremony held by private citizens. President Moon Jae-in, in a speech to mark the day, stressed that the Daegu Democracy Movement was more than just a regional historic event. Rather, it's something the entire nation must remember. He said the student protests sparked a series of rallies across the nation, ultimately leading to the April 19th movement the same year and ending the authoritarian rule of the Lee administration. Moving to the present day, he pointed to the so-called candlelight revolution, the mass demonstrations that led to former President Park Geun-hye's impeachment and removal from office last year, saying the Daegu Democracy Movement was the start of it all.
그로부터 우리는 민주주의를 향한 숭고한 여정을 시작했고 6월 민주항쟁으로 거대한 흐름을 만들어냈으며 촛불혁명으로 마침내 더 큰 민주주의에 도달했습니다.
The February 28th protests were only recognized by the government as a legitimate democracy movement in 2010, 50 years later. And after a nationwide campaign in which more than 12 million signatures were gathered, including those of other democratic movement-related organizations, it was designated last month as a National Memorial Day. And that designation came with the support of the people of Gwangju, home to the May 18th democratic movement 2 decades later. President Moon praised Gwangju and Daegu for coming together to support making February 28th a National Memorial Day, despite deep-rooted regionalism and political differences. Hwang Hojun, Arirang News.